Welcome to Bear Down Ballers. I'm your host, AJ BRAMLETT. Got my super producer, Ryan Wall, with me. And our Cats have been off to a great start lately, playing some really high-level basketball with a great win over Utah Tech. Ryan, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was a great win. When we're recording this last night against Utah Tech, 27-point win. They really have just got off to a pure dominant start to the season. Three Wildcats were scored over 20 points, and all five starters scored in double digits. So that was just incredible. What did you think about that, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to speak to the type of basketball that they're playing, an unselfish brand of basketball. Nobody cares really who scores. It's been kind of a different guy each game so far this season. But, I mean, anytime you get three guys scoring over 20-plus points in a game, in the same game, you're doing something right. So, I'm really, happy about the way that they play. You can tell that they play with a high amount of energy. They, like I said, they're very unselfish, and it's just a fun brand of basketball to watch right now. And they get out and run at every opportunity, which I love. And I think they played just really well last night. It was good to see Cedric Henderson Jr. really break out a little bit. I think that's good timing right before they head out to Maui, and so that was a big plus of the game. And then Kerr continues to play really well, man. It's just been fun to watch the kind of way he's directing this team so far.
Yeah, for the second straight game, the main story and best player for Arizona has been Kerr Kriisa, affecting the game in so many ways. 24 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 for 7 from 3. I thought for a second he was going to break his career high, which is 7 he set last year. But he did set a new career high of 24 points. But AJ, for me, I've just kind of noticed like Kerr just seems like he's more comfortable on the floor. He's more comfortable in Tommy Lloyd's offense, and he's kind of just taking what defenses are giving him. He's not forcing anything. Do you kind of get that sense too, that his game kind of seems like it's evolving?
Absolutely, because I thought last year, he played really well last year, but it was more, and you could kind of feel it when you watched him play that it was just more frenetic. You know what I mean? And now he's got a complete control of the game, of offense, of knowing where guys are. He's not forcing anything. He's just taking what the defense gives him, as you said, and shooting good shots, not really taking any bad threes or trying to force anything offensively. He takes what he's given, and then he tries to get guys involved at every time that he can. And he's doing a heck of a job of that. If guys run, with them, and really Tommy does a good job of pushing the pace, they know that he's going to get them the ball. And so that's a good feeling when you have a point guard like that. As a big man, I know what that feels like. And it's for the whole team. It makes you run when you know that if I put in this effort, I'm going to get rewarded at the end of it. And he's doing a heck of a job doing that right now.
Last year it seemed like the majority of his points would come from 3-point shots. But this year, that's not the case. He's driving in more, finding different ways to score. Last night, he was 6 for 6 from the free throw line. And Arizona, as a team in their program's history, had their best single game performance from the free throw line, 22 for 22. What'd you think of that?
I mean, that's impressive. I know our teams never did that. We're probably never even close to doing that. So, that just says that, they're taking time to pay attention to detail, and that these guys are also confident, on the offensive end, because, anytime that you can get up there and make sure you make a high amount of your free throws, you're going to win a lot of games just because of that. So hopefully last year we were kind of up and down. We had good games where we shot, well, others where we didn't. But this year so far, and, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the way that Umar's shooting the ball so far from the free throw line, shooting the ball really well with confidence. And when your bigs can make free throws like that, there's no real way that you can, foul big guys or kind of take away that opportunity. That's a big time positive for a team, and we've got that right now.
Yeah, Umar was excellent last night. Third
Yeah.
career double-double. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds. But another guy that we haven't mentioned too much yet, Julius Tabalis, I thought he was very good. I thought he was terrific last night. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 9 for 11 from the field. What do you think of his performance? It seemed like he was just, like the word I keep thinking, just comfortable on the floor and just, kind of just found his offense in the flow.
Yeah, he's just a really smart basketball player. And so, he's a great finisher around the rim. He's been really hyper aggressive this year, I think, and maybe that's him growing and getting stronger and having another year under his belt. But I just see him playing with a really quiet confidence, and I love to see that. Like he's finishing everything around the rim. He's going to the basket hard. If guys pressure him and try to get in his space, he rips through and goes. He's finishing above the rim, doing everything that they need him to do, and then he's doing a good job on rebounding and playing defense as well. So Zoo, all last year we talked about him being kind of the rock of Arizona's team. He is that again this year, but I just see him playing at an even higher level so far these first 3 games. And now, it'll be good to see what he can do in Maui, against competition as it steps up. And I expect him to continue to play well and just be, a leader for this team as the season progresses.
Yeah, after Arizona struggled a little bit from deep in their second game of the season, they followed it up with their best performance of the season, 54% from deep, 12 for 22 on 3-point shots. They also were 64% from the field. So they cleaned up the shooting errors. The one little, problem that still is there is the turnover issue from the past 2 games. It was still here. Arizona turned it over 19 times. What do you think about those areas? And with the turnovers, do you think that's just the thing where it's just going to work itself out? Guys, need to just play more together?
Yeah, I think so. I think it takes a while, especially when you're playing at this kind of pace. Like mistakes are going to happen, and if Tommy wants the guys to play free, so you're going to have to take opportunities and be aggressive, looking to score the basketball and get guys in position to score. So there's going to be some of that. If we can cut that down to 13, 14, a game, I think we'll be in a good spot for this year. 19 and 20 and getting above that. That's when in good games against good teams, that's going to have a real effect on us. But for now, I think it's just some growing pains. I think guys aren't trying to do too much, but as we progress down the season, I think you're going to see that number tick down, and we'll start playing a little bit more solid basketball from a turnover perspective. But still, overall, I mean, they've scored 315, 16 points in 3 games, averaging over 100 points a game. Like, can't ask for much more than that right now.
No, yeah, that's true. Arizona has looked dominant through 3 games. The competition hasn't been great, but AJ, the competition is getting much tougher in the next few days as the Maui Gym Invitational is quickly approaching us. As Tommy Lloyd said after the Utah Tech game, it's the premier preseason tournament here in college basketball. So let's get into it. There's 5 out of the 8 teams are all ranked inside the top 25. Arizona starts off the tournament against Cincinnati at 9:30 p.m. What do you think of that matchup? And it seems like Arizona, from a first glance, kind of drew an easier, if there is an easier side of the bracket. I think they got it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, but Cincinnati's always played a tough, grinded out style of basketball. They're going to be physical. It'll be good to see us go up against just a little bit stiffer competition. I think it's a good first draw game for us. But I think people are going to have to deal with our pace too. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm interested to see in this tournament is against the higher ranked and higher level teams. Are they able to keep pace with us as we push the ball as quickly as we do? And how that allows us to wear teams down by the end of the game. Because I think that that's a huge factor. Like playing that fast, it may not show up in the first 15, 25 minutes of the game, but by the time you get to those last minutes of the game, it usually has a huge impact on the other team. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing is how that works and matches up against the teams in the field. But it's a solid field of teams, and that tournament is. I played in it. I had the opportunity to play in it, and it's an experience I don't know those guys are never going to forget because it's just such a super high first class tournament for the guys to play in.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about your experience playing in it. What do you remember from it?
Yeah, I remember first of all, just the scenery and just being in Maui was incredible. I remember, Mike, one thing I remember personally is Michael Dickerson and I were on a little canoe out in the ocean, and we flipped over, we were under it. And I came up and there was 20 black spikes sticking out of my foot because I'd stepped on a sea urchin, and it was the day before the game, and I was freaked out I'm not gonna be able to play, but they went and poured some vinegar on it, got me back to go, and I was able to play in the next game against Boston College. So And then just we played Kentucky, which was a rematch of our championship game. And I remember Mike Bibby and played amazing in that game, and so did Miles, and we kind of blew them out. And then matching up with Duke, that was the only time I got to play Duke in my college career, and they played really well. They had us down, pretty big, and we came back and they ended up losing by 3 points in the championship game to Elton Brand and Shane Battier and Wojo and all those old Duke guys. So it's just an experience I'll never forget. My family was out there too. So if guys' families get to go out there, it's just you just make a ton of really good memories for yourself, and also being able to play at an extremely high level of basketball. So it's really an honor to be selected to play in it. And Arizona, I think this might be our 8th or 9th time playing in it, and we got a shot to win it.
Yeah, what do you think, from your experience, and what do you think that, kind of a big, tournament like this in the first couple of weeks of the season kind of does for a team, because you're playing such tough competition, early on.
It's just it gives you kind of a glimpse of where you're really at, and then it kind of prepares you for what it's going to be like, especially during the Pac-12 tournament, but then as you get into the NCAA tournament. And so playing that type of high level competition, the gym is really small and loud and hot, and it's a different kind of environment to play in. It's a lot of fun, but it's different. And just it's good to see how you stack up against some better competition early in the season, and you're doing it in a place where it's just beautiful to be at and be able to play. So it's a good opportunity for our team this year, and I expect them to go out there and play well.
Yeah, a year ago, Arizona played in the main event kind of tournament around this time a season ago, and they beat Michigan in the championship. It was then ranked number 4, and I felt that it was, I mean, kind of a little bit of a turning point. I mean, it is, early in the season, but still, go heading into last season, Arizona was unranked, unproven, and that kind of put them on the national radar. Do you think that can do the same thing for Arizona? Obviously, Arizona's ranked 14 currently this year, but still, Arizona's not in the top 10. People aren't really talking about Arizona as a team that can win it all or go to the
Yeah.
Final Four. Do you think this can put them on the map?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's a huge national stage, and that's anytime you get a chance to play in a tournament like this, and especially over the holiday weekend where people are actually have the ability to watch all the games and watch basketball. It's just it's an honor for us to be in it. I think that if we go out there and play well and win it, and it gives you a chance to compete for a championship early in the season. I mean, see how you respond in tough moments, how you respond, in championship moments, and I think it's just going to be an overall positive experience for us, whether we're able to take the championship or not. But just playing in that type of atmosphere is going to bode well for us as we go into Pac-12 play, and then as we get longer down into the season, into the NCAA tournament. So it's going to be an all-around positive for the squad.
Yeah, well, before we go, AJ, and but move to our interview today, I wanted to get your predictions for this tournament. How far you actually do think that Arizona will go? As we mentioned, they play Cincinnati in the opening round. Do you think they get past
I
the
think that
Bearcats?
Yeah, I think we get past Cincinnati. Next game would be against San Diego State or Ohio State, both undefeated now. San Diego State's tough. I watched them play the other night, and their style of defense, and they're hard nosed. And so I think either one of those will be a tougher matchup, but I expect us, to win that as well. And then, depending on who comes through the other side of the bracket, Creighton, I haven't seen Creighton play yet this year, but I know that they're very, very good. And they had a lot of guys come back from last year. They play a tough style of basketball. So if it's Creighton in the final or whoever makes it past the that part of the bracket, I think it's going to be
So
Louisville. Yeah, Louisville struggled. I mean, they've struggled so far, lost a lot of close games so far, which has been tough on them. But they're Louisville, so they can play good basketball. So, but I think I think we win it, man. To be honest, I think we win it. I don't think that there's a team in there that I know that we can't beat, but we're just going to have to go out there and prove it.
yeah, Arkansas is ranked number 9 right now, and Creighton's ranked 10. Those are kind of two of the favorites, if you want to say, of the tournament. But people forget Arkansas is without one of their best players, Nick Smith
Yep.
Jr., who was a top 5 recruit this year. So yeah, they do have a younger group, and as you said, Creighton is really good. Added Baylor Shireman, transfer from North Dakota State. It's a really good shooter. So yeah, I think they'll be tough. I'm gonna go with you too. I think I think they're gonna beat Creighton in the championship. I think Arizona's, veteran leadership along with talented freshmen just gives them the edge.
Yeah, I'm just excited, man. Like this is my favorite time of year, and the team that we have this year, I've loved watching them play so far, and just seeing Arizona on that national stage and getting the shine that we deserve is something that I always, cherish. So it's going to be a fun week of basketball for sure.
Tell everybody who we have on the show today. Another guy who has experience in Maui too.
Yeah, one of the guys that scored 25 points in the championship game when they won it back in 2000. A guy that's one of Arizona's legendary point guards at Point Guard U, and a guy that's just an all-around good human being. Mr. Jason Gardner joins us next on Bear Down Ballers. Welcome to Bear Down Ballers. I'm your host AJ BRAMLETT, back with another episode. I've got a special guest in the house tonight. We welcome in a legend at University of Arizona, one of 4 players in Pac-10 history to have over 1,500 points, 500 assists, and 200 steals, which is wild. And his jersey hangs from the rafters in McHale Center. Mr. Jason Gardner joins us on Bear Down Ballers. Jay Gard, how you doing, man?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us today. I know you got a lot going on. This is your second time on the podcast. You had a special year last year with the team and the run that you guys made. Can you talk about your thoughts on the team this year so far?
So far, so good. We 3-0. I think the big deal, we got some young guys coming off the bench. We got a lot of veteran guys that are coming back, and you know how that is. I think that anytime you have guys that are coming back, offensively, defensively, leadership practices, different things like that. So that's been a big help from Kerr and Pella and Omar and Zoo and Adama. So I think it's really helped our freshmen and even our 2 transfers in Courtney and Cedric. So so far so good.
What are some of the similarities? You see any similarities between this year's team and last year's team, and some of the differences that you see so far?
Yeah, so far, I think Tommy's kept up with the pace. I think the young guys and the transfers. I think people talk about how fast and pace, and I want to play fast, and different things like that. But I think for the new guys, I think they're getting a little bit different understanding. Like this is fast. So you can see it in practice. You can hear it on the bench. You can kind of see the wind even in the past 3 games. I just think for all the new guys, you can kind of tell on timeouts or coming to the bench. They are a little gassed.
Yeah.
But it's been good for them, and obviously I think they're going to get better at it. So
yeah, you talk about some of the new guys. Can you give me a little breakdown of what you see from those guys? Like, I've seen them a couple times during the summer, and they've improved a great deal from when I first saw them, probably in June of last year to now. It's been, big improvement for a lot of those guys. Can you talk about Phillip and Henry a little bit, and Dylan, and then I'll go into Ced and Kylan and Courtney after that.
Well, I think the versatility of Dylan and Henry, which we didn't have as much last year because both of them can shoot the 3, and I think that's going to help kind of stretch, our team offensively. Both of them are 6'11" and 7 feet, really good rim protectors for us. So I think that's really going to help. And I think, with Henry, he can kind of guard 1 through 5. I think he's going at some point as he kind of keeps growing, I think he's going to end up probably leading us in block shots, a possibility. And I think it's good. You can switch 1 through 5 with him. Dylan, big body kid, I think that, for us, it's always hard when you can come off a ball screen and dump it back to your 5-man for a 3. So I think that's how he's really going to help open the court for us. And Phillip is a 6'8" kid that can play 1 through 4, who's, learning by the minute. It was funny last night, we were shooting a technical for flopping, and he was literally standing at the 3-point line, and we're telling him, hey, you got to be at half court. So I just think little bitty small things like that with him is like, he's constantly learning, just the American games. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. And then with Kylan Boswell, tough, sees the floor, leader, young, 17, came in like Gilbert,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
kind of just, bright eyed, every game of just, every game is different, from the strategy to, how we're guarding ball screens to how he has to come off ball screens. And so he's soaking everything up like a sponge, and, he's doing well too.
I think he's played really well, man. For being a 17-year-old kid, like the poise that he plays with,
No doubt.
his defensive ability, like real strong, tough. You know what I mean? I knew you would like him because he's kind of in the mold of you and runs the team, and he could drop some dimes too, man. I didn't know he had that kind of vision. To be honest,
He see the floor. Really see the floor.
yeah, he's nice, man. So, and then talk about Sid played great. The other night played awesome. And I think it was his first kind of breakout game that he has so far. And then Courtney, what he brings, a lot of people haven't seen him yet because he had to sit out those first 3 games. But I think he's going to be a huge, bonus for you going into Maui next week. So talk about those 2 guys a little bit.
I think Sam was great because each game he's kind of gotten better. I think he's still kind of learning the offense. I think he's still trying to play the perfect way, make the perfect pass, make the perfect read, where should the ball go? So it was good to kind of see him to kind of just let it loose and not think as much out there. He made some threes. He was attacking the rim. So I think that was good for his confidence, but even our team confidence as well going into Maui. And then I think with Courtney, coming from the Big 12, big time defender, always in your face. And I think he's going to bring us some speed, some athleticism defensively. Somebody's going to put pressure on you because he can attack the rim. So that's going to help us with, getting our fouls up. And as well, somebody else that can shoot the 3. So I think he's going to bring a whole lot, when he's back.
Yeah, I love his game, man. I think he complements, the backcourt really well with the things that he does, and playing alongside Kerr too as well. Can you talk a little bit about Kerr? I want to talk about him like so far this year and the difference that you've seen from last year to this year in his play so far this year, because I've seen a couple of really big differences. Want to get your take on that.
I think the biggest thing for Kerr is just his leadership. I think his leadership, his work ethic, from his workouts to the weight room to, Kerr's actually ultra competitive. He hates to lose. Even in practice, just running through 5-on-0 offensive, sets. He's going 100%. And yelling at guys when they're not going 100%. So I think his leadership has really stepped up, which is obviously, losing 3 guys like we lost. I think, leadership wise, it's probably very important for us because we need the transfers and young guys to catch up quicker. And I think Kerr's kind of a big part of that as far as just kind of keeping them, locked in about what's going on, and also too staying on them about what's going on.
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job so far, man. It's been fun to watch. And, that's translated into good play, on the court for you guys. Scored 316 points in 3 games, man. Averaging a little over 105 points a game, man. That's crazy, especially with how many new guys you got. Like, you talked about a little bit about it, guys being gassed and winded, but like, how are you able to play at that pace? And like, what goes into, being able to play that style of play? Because we always played fast, even with Coach Olsen, we played fast, but it seems like you guys are just playing at even a different level than what we used to push it at.
I think it's from drill to drill. I think it's from, it's not that we're playing 5-on-5 and we're just, getting a shot up in 10 seconds. I do think that, the way, just from guys are transitioning from drills, the way guys are, even when we do go live 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or 5, anytime we do things full court, we're going full speed. It's like sometimes, sometimes you look at it as like we're a sprinting team,
Yeah.
But he does talk a lot about the first 3 steps, getting out in front of people. I definitely think it helps with Kerr, because everybody knows Kerr. He's gonna thread that needle, and so he has the ball. Kerr makes you run. He makes you run hard, and I think guys are starting to see the positive advantages that we're having, and I think it's kind of helping the past 3 games for guys to see, like, holy crap, the harder I run, maybe I am getting this shot, I am getting this layup. Right. And Kerr's gonna thread that needle.
Yeah, I know you would enjoy playing at that pace, man.
I would love it.
Yeah, you pushing that ball, man. Can you talk about this team because the chemistry on this team looks like it's really, really good, man. Last year, I thought that was a huge key to the success of the team. Guys got along, they liked each other. Like, can you talk about how that's building with this squad and this year's team?
Honestly, I think the biggest deal, what really helps us is that in Tommy's offense, how he does is that, you can't hold the ball. Sometimes a lot of times you watch guards, they get the ball, they back dribble out, 2-3 dribbles, they call for a ball screen. Well, that's not happening here. It's like, you come off a ball screen and you got to hurry up and make a quick decision. As soon as I catch it, I got to make a quick decision. If I swing it, he has to make a quick decision. So I think it just helps as far as, you're always thinking about the next move. And so it's never like just stick and hold. And, we don't have one ball dominant guy that, gets all, 90% of the ball screens. Everybody shares the ball screens. The guards are looking for the bigs looking for guards. So I think as far as just the way that the ball cannot stick in your hand definitely helps, our offense and that team chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun brand of basketball to watch, man. It's fun for alumni, fun for everybody. If I was playing anywhere in high school right now, it's a place I want to be, man. You know what I mean? Just because of everything you got going on over there. All right, so you guys are heading to Maui, next week for the Maui Invitational. I mean, it's one of the best tournaments around, bro. I mean, we played in it in '97. We played Boston College first round, got them, smacked Kentucky in the second game, and then ended up losing to Duke in the final to Elton Brand and Wojo and Shane Batty and those guys. You guys were able to take that championship home, right? In 2000. I think you had 25 in the championship game against Illinois, put it on them and your little hometown team. So can you talk about what you remember about that tournament and what you can kind of, impress from your experience there onto the guys for what it's like to play in that tournament next week?
I just think being in Maui, I think, the talk of, I think, coming into college basketball and, you're always watching the Maui tournament. It's arguably probably, the biggest tournament, in college basketball. So I think the excitement about it, I think the teams that are there, I think 4 of the 6 teams are ranked.
Yeah.
So, and even the 2 teams aren't ranked, still 2 teams that, could maybe possibly turn around and be tournament teams. Obviously, I know they're new coaches, so, it could take a year or 2 or whatnot. But even saying that, I think the competition that's out there, the pros that are out there, the head coaches that are in the gym, I just think that it's an amazing atmosphere. And, I think that, playing Illinois in the championship, that's what actually started our rival for the next couple years for us. So, but no, it's an amazing time.
What do you expect for the guys to get out of this tournament that you can use for, that'll benefit you guys for the rest of the year?
I think it's the 3 games and, the 3 games in 3 days, which is obviously going to help for the Pac-12 tournament. I think that atmosphere, as far as it's going to be packed, I forget what the gym holds, 4,000 or 5,000, if that, I forget.
I love that gym, man. I like playing in that gym. It was hot up in there, man. It was like a high school gym.
It's hot, it's packed. You're going into a locker room. Now, obviously, maybe they could have changed things. I don't know, but I just even remember the locker room, was very small, and fans can hear, the coach talking. It's almost like, in a way, of a little style of an AAU basketball tournament.
Yeah.
No locker room. You go upstairs, you throw all your bags, you change it right there in the corner. But no, it's that feel walking in and just, again, just being in Maui, is exciting.
Yeah, those U of A chants when they get going in that gym, man, it's nothing like it, man. still give me chills on those, man. So before I let you get out of here, man, I'm going to tell you this. Like, I think Arizona has the best alumni in the country, best group. The way that you guys, treat the former players and keep us involved and keep us connected to the program is something special that I take a lot of pride in. So can you talk about like your role, what you're doing, how it's been for you and kind of your plans and stuff for what you've been doing at U of A and the successes that you've had?
No, I think it's keeping in touch with alumni, kind of getting our former players in touch with our alumni, creating that relationship, and whether it's going further in basketball or doing something after basketball that's not related to basketball. So I think it's just kind of building those connections, staying involved. I think obviously helping Coach Lloyd, staying involved with alumni, you know, and then also too is as far as just, you know, and try to invite guys back more and more, you know, obviously trying to work on something even for this next August and October to try to get guys back. So I think it's just constantly trying to figure out what we can do to get alumni back, get alumni involved. I mean, you know how it is. I think it's a very passionate group of guys. I mean, even, you know, from the text messages that you know that the group of guys are on,
Yeah.
each other birthdays and, you know, funny jokes and different things like that. So I think it's just pretty awesome that, you know, guys from all different ages, you know, are you know, on a group chat talking and hanging out, you know. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. You've done a hell of a job doing it. So we appreciate you being in that position and doing what you do. So, well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time today, man. I know you're busy. We wish y'all good luck next week. Always appreciate you coming on, man. You're a legend. So thank you for what you've done for the University of Arizona and what you continue to do. Jason Gardner, I appreciate you, my brother.
I appreciate you too.
All right, man. Thank you.